President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi sends condolences to Namibia's president over the passing of former President Sam Nujoma, Namibia's first and founding president. Egypt condemns Netanyahu's recent statements to a U.S. media outlet, calling them misleading and rejecting the misrepresentation of Egypt's Gaza humanitarian efforts. And 308 aid trucks, including 19 fuel trucks, enter Gaza from Egypt. You're watching the latest updates from Egypt here on Qnews. We'll start off with the latest developments. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has sent a cable of condolences to the President of the Republic of Namibia, Nangolo Mbumba, over the passing of former President Sam Nujoma. Nujoma was the first and founding President of Namibia. President al-Sisi emphasized that former Namibian President Sam Nujoma left a significant mark on the continent's history and its struggle for freedom, independence and prosperity. He also highlighted the strong ties between Egypt and Nujoma, particularly in his efforts to liberate Namibia. Egypt has strongly condemned Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's recent statements to a U.S. media outlet, calling them misleading and rejecting their misrepresentation of Egypt's humanitarian efforts in Gaza. The Foreign Ministry's statement highlighted Egypt's aid, including over 5,000 relief trucks and support for injured Palestinians. Egypt criticized Israel's violations against civilians and infrastructure, rejected any notions of displacing Palestinians to neighboring countries, and reaffirmed its commitment to a two-state solution with East Jerusalem as the Palestinian capital. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has reaffirmed the unified Arab rejection of any attempt to displace Palestinians during his meeting with U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen in Washington. Abdelati emphasized Egypt's steadfast commitment to the Palestinian cause, calling for a political solution that ensures an independent Palestinian state and the right to self-determination. He also highlighted Egypt's role in maintaining the ceasefire in Gaza, expediting humanitarian aid and leading reconstruction efforts. Additionally, he stressed on the importance of the Egypt-US strategic partnership in promoting stability across the Middle East. And Al Qahira News Channel has reported that 19 fuel trucks have entered Gaza from Egypt. The channel also confirmed that 308 aid trucks carrying medical and food supplies have crossed into Gaza through the Karam Abu Salim and Al Auja border crossings. This aid delivery coincides with the ongoing ceasefire and its implementation efforts. Egypt's Minister of Communications, Amr Talat, has highlighted the country's commitment to global cooperation in the field of artificial intelligence. During the Artificial Intelligence Summit in Paris, Talat discussed the comprehensive approach of the International AI Partnership, which aims to improve global AI governance and foster future collaborations among countries. He emphasized Egypt's active role in international forums dedicated to AI and underscored the country's efforts to strengthen regional cooperation in the AI sector through the Arab League and the African Union. Khaled Al-Anani, the candidate for Director General of UNESCO, has met with Pope Francis to present his vision for the organization's future activities and initiatives. According to Bassem Radi, Egypt's ambassador to Rome, Al-Anani is also scheduled to hold a series of meetings with senior Italian officials, as well as heads of committees in both the Italian Parliament and Senate. The National Council of Wages, NCW, has announced a 17% increase in the minimum wage for private sector workers, raising it to £7,000, equivalent to $139 per month, effective March 1st of 2025. The NCW also introduced a minimum wage for part-time employees. For the first time, part-time workers will receive at least 28 Egyptian pounds, equivalent to $0.56 per hour, in accordance to the labour law. The NCW meeting also confirmed that private sector workers will be entitled to an annual raise of at least 3% of their social insurance wage, with a minimum of 250 Egyptian pounds per month. The House of Representatives under Speaker Hanafi Gebeli has referred two presidential decrees to the Constitutional and Legislative Affairs Committee for review. The first decree pertains to the approval of mutual letters between Egypt and Japan regarding a 1 billion yen grant for Egypt's economic and social development programs. The second decree concerns the approval of mutual letters between Egypt and Japan for a grant to upgrade the Cairo Opera House infrastructure and equipment. Minister of Health Khaled Abdel Ghaffar has stated that the second phase of the comprehensive health insurance system will serve 12 million citizens. Preparations are underway, with a budget of 115 billion Egyptian pounds allocated, including 36 billion from the current fiscal year's budget. On the sidelines of the annual forum of the General Authority for Comprehensive Health Insurance, the minister confirmed that 1,300 projects have been implemented since 2014, with a total cost of approximately 180 billion pounds. Minister of Electricity Mahmoud Smith has discussed with ministry leaders the work plan and the status of land delivery of solar and wind energy projects, as well as future projects under the New and Renewable Energy Authority. The minister emphasized the need to accelerate the implementation of the Renewable Energy Projects Plan through 2030 and ensure land availability. He also noted that the energy strategy through 2040 aims to achieve a total capacity of 40 gigawatts from wind and 20 gigawatts from solar energy. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has met with Modern Holding Chairman Jassim Al-Zabi and CEO Bill O'Regan to review progress on the ambitious Ras Al Hikma mega development. Prime Minister Madbouli praised the company's rapid progress in finalizing the master plan and reaffirmed the Egyptian government's full support for accelerating its execution. Positioned as a game-changing urban tourism and investment hub, the Ras Al Hikma mega project is expected to strengthen Egypt's regional economic influence, attracting billions in foreign investment and transforming the North Coast into a leading international destination. The head of the Suez Canal Authority, Osama Rabia, has stated that he expects maritime traffic through the Egyptian waterway to gradually return to normal by the end of March, with a full recovery anticipated by mid-year. Rabia explained that the canal is currently passing no more than 32 ships per day, compared to 75 ships per day before the outbreak of the Gaza conflict on October 7, 2023. He also noted that large tankers are still unable to navigate through the canal at this time. Minister of Petroleum Karim Badawi has met with CEO of Arkeos, Nasser Al-Yafai, a joint venture between British Petroleum and XRG, to discuss the company's activities in its concession areas in Egypt and explore investment opportunities in the gas sector. Badawi emphasized that BP and XRG's decision to establish their partnership in Egypt's natural gas sector is strong evidence of the country's attractive investment climate in the petroleum industry. He also reaffirmed full support for foreign companies operating in petroleum, gas and mining. Minister of Investment Hassan Al-Khatib has met with Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade and CEO of the Barcelo Hotel Group, Raul Gonzalez, to explore investment opportunities in Egypt's tourism sector and hotel development. Al-Khatib stated that the meeting aligns with Egypt's plan to double the number of tourists to 30 million. Achieving this goal requires expanding hotel capacity to approximately 230,000 rooms, with a long-term target of 500,000 rooms. Egypt's annual headline inflation rate decreased to 23.2% in January 2025, compared to 23.4% in December 2024. According to the latest data released by the Central Agency for Public Mobilization, CAPMAS, the consumer price index for the country reached 243.5 points last month, showing a slight slowdown in inflation. January's monthly inflation rate stood at 1.6%, up from 0 in December 2024. CAPMAS attributed the annual inflation decline to lower vegetable prices and a slight drop in fish and seafood prices. However, key commodities saw price hikes, including grains and bread, 1.3%, meat and poultry with 5%, and dairy products with 0.3%, oil and fats with 0.7%, and fruit by 9.8%. The Central Bank of Egypt has revealed that the external debt rose to $155.204 billion by the end of September 2024. A report from the Central Bank revealed that long-term external debt reached $127.538 billion by the end of September 2024, up from $126.86 billion in June. Short-term debt rose to $27.665 billion, compared to $26.024 billion in June. The government's external debt stood at $80.374 billion by the end of September, slightly up from $80.178 billion in June. The central bank's external debt totaled $35.019 billion, while the bank's external debt was $20.740 billion by September's end. Minister of Planning Rania Mashat has discussed opportunities for joint cooperation and the company's projects in Egypt with a delegation from Fortseco Green Energy as part of the national efforts to promote the green transition and increase investments in renewable energy. Al-Mashat emphasized that the country has worked on increasing the deployment of renewable energy to achieve the goal of reaching 42% of the installed capacity from renewable sources by 2030. While accelerating the transition to clean energy sources. The Professional Squash Association, PSA, has announced the new world rankings for February, with the Egyptian squash stars continuing their dominance in the rankings. Ali Farag, a player from Wadi Digla, maintained his position at the top of the men's rankings for the 88th consecutive week, while Nuran Guhar, a player from Palm Hills, retained her position at the top of the women's rankings for the 10th week in a row. The 13th round of the Egyptian Premier League will begin tomorrow with 3 exciting matches: Petrojet against Samuha, Farco against Zamalek, and Al Ahli against Ghazl al-Mahalla. The Egyptian Professional Clubs Association has decided to schedule Premier League matches at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Cairo local time, starting from the 8th week, instead of the previous times of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. These are all the news we have for now, but here's a reminder of Egypt's main stories. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi sends condolences to Namibia's president over the passing of former President Sam Nujoma, Namibia's first and founding president. Egypt condemns Netanyahu's recent statements to a U.S. media outlet, calling them misleading and rejecting the misrepresentation of Egypt's Gaza humanitarian efforts. And 308 aid trucks, including 19 fuel trucks, enter Gaza from Egypt. These are all the Egyptian news that we have for now, but please remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments. Thank you for joining us.